All right, let's kick it off. Welcome to the show. We got Travis freaking Pastrana here today, man. What the heck?
Incredible.
Cleetus McFarland. How are you here again today?
I don't know.
How am I in your shop?
Lucky.
I
keep getting lucky that you're inviting me.
Freedom 500. Come on, man.
I know. And my wife Britt's sitting here, always co-hosting. She's gonna be chatty Cathy today. I have a feeling.
I have lots of questions.
No, Cleetus, thanks for letting us be here. Thanks for jumping in.
Anytime. I'm just proud to be here with you guys.
Yeah, this is cool.
You guys are awesome people.
We've been trying to nail this podcast down for a while.
It has been a while.
Yeah.
Yep. So I didn't have your name in my phone, and I had like literally before Daytona, there was probably 6 or 7 podcasts a day that the Black Rifle guys were like, all right, we're going to jump on these, and it was just some other number asking for podcasts, and I was like, I literally I can't do it.
Who is this weirdo?
And then I was trying to ask you to jump in for something else. You're like, we'll do the podcast. I was like, of course.
We'll do the podcast. Dude, welcome. This is us. This is it. This is probably a little laid back from what you're used to. The big leagues.
You see how many cameras you got here?
Oh, we just watched you at the Daytona 500. That's right.
Yeah.
That was sick. What was that like?
So I ran just shy of a heart attack for about 4 hours. It was fantastic.
I know that's not.
It looks insane.
I know it's not a Crown Vic, but how does that car feel?
To be honest, the Freedom 500 is going to be a lot more fun than the Daytona 500, but the Daytona 500 was something that just had to be off the bucket list. I had some great sponsors with, we had from all the Black Rifle guys. They said, look, we're going to go down and we're going to go with all the military, all the vets, all the first responders, and we're going to go down and we're going to start racing all the speed weeks. So I got to drive dirt cars, like modifieds, and then we drove the truck series, and then so I spread money that was just supposed to go to one event, and I spread it over a bunch, and I'm like, okay, now everything that I crash is on, like, my wife and I was like, Lindsay, this could be a really bad week for us, but we ended up 11th, so it was good.
That was insane. It must feel nuts just rolling in a pack of cars at 200 for that long.
I didn't realize they were constantly trying to get, and maybe just because I had a yellow sticker across the back that says rookie, but they were actively trying to get me out of the draft. And whoever was on the back, like those guys, they are fighting the entire way. It's not like I was like, oh, we'll just sit here and ride. No, it was.
They want you out.
They're smart.
Yeah. Really? They're really good.
Yeah, they're really good. It
weird.
looked like if you lose that draft, it's just you just sink.
Yeah, but whoever's on the back, the row that's moving, the last car will go side draft you, pull you off of the draft, and basically with these new the new cars they have, if you're more than a half car length back and you don't have a car behind you to kind of take that wind burble out, you're
just fade.
You're out.
Now, were they doing that because you're a rookie or because
I think they were doing it to everyone.
Competitive edge, okay.
But I'm not sure.
It didn't look just like you getting that done to them, right? It was like, yeah, it's the game. That's the game. Yeah, you're always trying to not be that guy getting pushed back.
Were the cars good, like really powerful, or?
Well, they're restricted, obviously, for that one. But at the end of the day, the truck series was like the worst car. Like I'm bouncing off the ground and you're sideways,
really?
and it felt like a dirt track. And then I got into the Cup cars, and it's an actual race car now. I mean, I don't know what Cup cars were like before because the first time I ever drove or even sat in a Cup car was for qualifying. So that was fun.
Sounds like every time I've raced for Cleetus.
Yeah.
First timer, cool, go.
Yeah, you
have
got
fun.
this.
Yeah, it's good times, man.
That's insane, though. I mean, takes some nuts to go out into the Daytona 500 as, a guy who doesn't really do much oval racing. That was cool.
No, it was fun, but I had always seen it. Like Daytona 500, that's like a vacation. That's like a holiday for us, basically. Like my buddies they got a little circle track around the house, and we always go watch the 500. And since before I can remember, we just go.
Yeah, it's a redneck Christmas.
Yeah, it really is.
It blew my mind. First time we went. Yeah, it blew my mind. The infield is unreal.
Yeah.
Massive. The money sitting in there, billions of dollars just piled up around the airport.
Yeah, and motorhomes.
Just crazy
ridiculous.
Money. Yeah, redneck paradise, dude. Like you said,
redneck paradise. It was cool seeing you out there, though.
No, I appreciate it.
It was awesome.
Fun being out there.
Next year, are you doing it next year?
No, hell no.
Okay.
I can only sell the dream once.
Okay.
Well, it was really interesting though because when we were coming, like I was way too far up. I was not planning on being that far, and
we were all impressed.
Well, I'm sitting 10th there at that last green white checkered, and it was funny because sorry, not to jump back in this, but I'm going to tell one story.
Do it.
All right, Denny Hamlin. When I was calling around, I'm trying to for the last like 2 years. I'm like, hey, so can I get a ride for the? And everyone's like, yeah, sure, bring money, we'll get you something. And Denny, he looked at me, he goes, a restrictor plate race is more about just maintaining the chaos and being in the right place and staying out of trouble. He goes, look, if you listen, if you stay out of trouble for the first bit, he goes, I believe you can drive a car as sideways as anybody. He goes, I've watched those Gymkhana videos and whatever you always do in shenanigans. He goes, on this one, it's just holding it wide open. And when stuff goes wrong, to be able to correct it and to never panic for 4 hours. So he goes, at the end of the day, I think you're going to be up there and you're going to push one of us to the checkered flag. He goes, I won't push my teammate to the checkered flag. He goes, everyone, it's each man for themselves. He goes, how would you feel about a second? I said, I would be the happiest person in the world. He goes, good, because I think you can be there. I want another Toyota in the field. I think we can give you a car that you can qualify. And everybody laughed at Denny. Everyone's like, there's no chance in hell. I think I was like, wow. If I would have won, I would have bankrupt Vegas. It was like 450 to 1 or something. Everyone put like $5 down. So the last green, white checkered, it was Denny, then it was Bubba, my teammate on the 23, and then it was me. Denny goes to the bottom. He's like, all right, I'm gonna break the bottom draft up. Bubba's going to the top. He got a hold of Kyle Busch. Kyle pushes Logano out in front. Kyle drops back to Bubba. My spotter's like, if you're on Bubba on the exit of 2, you're gonna be pushing Bubba for the win down the back straightaway because the top's gonna roll faster. And right as I got all excited in that millisecond, I didn't check my rear view. So the rear view, when someone gets within a half car length of you, you start getting really, really loose.
Oh, wow.
And so Eric jumped in because Eric saw the same thing. He goes, all right, if I can be on me, basically he gets on me. He goes, we got 4 cars, which is really tough to keep going, but it's the last lap and it's the 500. So yeah, let's go. And so he jumps on, and right as I started getting loose, because I didn't check the rear view to see that he was there, because usually you just kind of like walk it up I was like, get on the 23, get on the 23. And then I got bumped right as it started sliding. So.
That's so crazy that there's that much strategy going on while you're going 190 and you're processing all this information. That's
Dude,
insane.
even the Crown Vics are intense for me. Like, that's a blast. I can't imagine doubling the speed, more than double the speed probably.
Yeah.
Well, the Crown Vics are fun because now, especially with the roll cages, dude, I was a sitting duck because I tried to take you out, I think, at one point.
Yeah, you did.
And then,
unbelievable.
So I was trying to take this guy out at the last Freedom 500 or the only one that I did actually.
2 years ago.
Yeah. And, I broke my car trying to hit you, and I was just sitting there, and I could see the whites of, I don't even know who it was, but someone came around, and they didn't try to miss me. They didn't try to slow down. They just got this really happy look. I just in slow motion, I just saw this. I was like, oh God. And like shoulder, everything. I didn't couldn't. Yeah.
I think the concept that you get to show up to your event, right? Cleetus is paid for everything. Like, I don't think even the drivers realize how, like, for me to be able to go to Bristol, no expense, and get to race on his dollar. Dude, you're going to have guys that don't care about wrecking. You're going to have guys, because you're out nothing.
Yeah, the Diesel brothers were pretty good.
Oh, yeah. Dave Sparks has cost me like freaking 10 Crown Vics.
As soon as you have any racer put any dollar in, you're going to have a different race.
Yeah. I think, it's so hard to get influencers and pro drivers to go out of their way to do something. So that's why I've always put all the dollar on me, so that it's just no pressure to show up.
Dude, it's the coolest thing what you're doing. It's the coolest thing. Makes it easier. But it makes the races good.
Yeah.
Because they don't care as much.
And I don't want them to care because I want them to have fun. So it's an actual good show and people will keep watching.
Yeah, for sure. That helps. I think we need Britt out there today, dude.
I know.
That's who you need out there.
The girls want a girls race.
A girls race.
Set it up.
I think a girls race would work.
So
some great girl racers.
Well, that's the thing. They could jump in with the guys, though. I mean, don't.
Yeah, we got Leah today.
Yeah, but don't you think an all girls race would sell?
It's a mom's race.
We could sell
moms.
Moms.
Nice. That's actually pretty good.
The La Moms 24.
So a year ago, you were here and you had a broken pelvis.
Yeah, I still had some tubes and such, but it was one of the best races I've ever seen. And Deegan came through right there at the end. It was amazing, dude. The crowd, the coolest part, like after all the races were done here, like everyone that's in the crowd feels like a part of the Freedom Factory. And there was like kids, adults, everybody, they're cleaning trash up as like the guys are out there signing autographs.
It's the coolest thing.
Yeah, I was like, man, it's
a big family.
It's crazy.
For sure.
It's crazy. And he was going to be in the race and he broke his pelvis doing the Gymkhana shoot. Guy still came and announced. Like, you went from driving to announcing because you're just an absolute great person. It still showed up.
It was fun. I had nothing else to do. I was literally stuck on the couch. I mean, I just wanted to come have some fun, honestly. But you're welcome.
How much of your life have you spent with something broken? I feel like you're pretty used to having broken bones.
Yeah, that was a rough one though, because I basically shattered my pelvis, which I'd done once before, and a lot of the stuff was fused in there, which was kind of nice and probably kept me from bleeding out. But I had like 6 or 7 blood transfusions over that week, and then broke my tailbone, so that sucked for laying down. And with the pelvis, I couldn't get up. And then they drilled into my bladder and basically had a catheter come out of there. So it kind of sucked. So this was a little worse than usual. And then we brought our friend over and had a compound fracture tib fib here at your house last year.
Yeah, no, that was great.
Every time I've been to your house, every time we pulled in, it was like looking around. Who's it going to be today? Like, who's it going to be? I swear, every time I came there, was it Trevor?
Oh yeah, the leaf pile
broke his back.
Yeah,
that day, leaving an ambulance. It was like every time I came there.
We
the first time I totaled your buggy.
Yeah, that wasn't an injury. That was just. I mean, you're lucky Hubert didn't kill you, but
he was definitely not happy.
was mad.
Didn't know who I was. Yeah,
that was funny.
That was good times.
Yeah, I was actually really surprised. The story is one of the people that came with Travis. She climbed a tree at my house and then jumped out of the tree, and her leg just snapped when she landed.
It was bad.
So I'm like, oh my gosh, like there's this drunk girl at my house, and she's of age. She's probably 25 or 26, and
wait,
19.
Let's
she
clear
came with
that
Josh,
up.
right? Well, I don't want people to think it was just underage or something.
It's legalities.
But she broke her leg, and she's laying there like in shock, and Travis is like, oh, that's no big deal. I'm like, what?
I've seen this before.
My main orthopedic, so she's a doctor.
Yeah.
But she's going into orthopedics. So my main orthopedic doctor, his daughter was like, oh, cool, I'll come down. I want to go to the Freedom 500. I was like, yeah, sweet, jump on in. And then you had Connor Daly and stripper Josh that were both like, I'm surprised neither one of them caught her as she jumped out there.
Yeah. Yeah, she's like laying there. So I didn't know she was a doctor, and I didn't know her dad was an orthopedic surgeon. So they're like looking at this thing like, oh, that's not too bad, and they like reset it on the spot. It was some impressive work, like
you got the right guys.
Okay, everyone go home.
Yeah, he FaceTimes like his surgeon, and he's looking through the phone, the surgeon, and he's like, all right, someone grab her foot and reset it, and then
on FaceTime.
And then he's like, all right, it looks like the blood's flowing now, like, and then I guess he flew in the next day and fixed it up.
He
right?
sure did.
That was super cool.
Yeah, that's the one good thing about being injured a lot is that you have a lot of great doctors and orthopedics around that you can, they'll fly for you, or you can fly to them.
That's incredible.
What's your word? It's probably impossible to know how many bones you've broken.
You see, that gets really difficult because even this last one, like if you have multiple hip fractures, does that count as one? But then I also broke my back and my tailbone, so technically that's 3, or is it just one injury? Or
no, that's definitely more than one.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you think you're in the several hundreds of bones broken, do you think?
So they estimated 40 fractures over 7 bones for my foot. So, I mean, you would think probably like 100 fractures maybe. But what do you count as a fracture?
Yeah.
Like, do they round up or down? I don't know.
Do you drink a lot of milk?
I should, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
I can get you a glass of milk.
Thanks, man.
This guy's the milk
He's
guy.
always
Right?
drinking milk.
Everywhere we go, he's got a glass of milk. Dude, it's the weirdest thing. It's like a big baby.
Do you have any broken bones?
No.
Oh.
You've never broken a bone?
Never broken
And
a
you
bone,
you drink milk all the
Drink
time?
a lot of milk.
That sounds
So I was
great.
trying to
He's
offer
selling
you
it right now, dude.
All right.
Never broke a bone.
Yeah, that's definitely a crazy amount of bones broken. But
I have a little milk every morning with my coffee.
That's true. A little bit. Thin
It's
it out. It's crazy to see how many bones you've broken, though. But the amount of stunts that you've done successfully without breaking bones is incredible. But you've done so many stunts. It's like, how do you not break a couple bones?
Dude, I'm going through my head just trying to list your stunts is insane. I see Nitro's been posting a lot of like the highlight stunts.
They did like a bracket challenge for this
Dude, I
month.
watched some videos like eyes wide open, just like
Wow.
mouth. Like, how is this stuff possible, dude?
It's been a fun ride though, but that's the thing. Like every time I get hurt or something happens, instead of saying, "Oh, well, that's a career-ending injury," you say, "Oh, well, what can I drive? What can I ride? How else can I race or compete at something?"
I can't wait till you're like competing in the little like Walmart.
I can. I mean, I'll do it.
It's the last thing I can drive. It's like
Come on.
13 miles per hour.
What was the stunt that the night before kept you up the most? What was the one stunt that you were like, oh my gosh, this one's gonna be gnarly?
No, I think anything you're not prepared for. You know, at the end of the day, if you're prepared, you kind of go through that checklist, and you're like, am I willing to do it? What's the risk? What's the consequence? What's the payoff if this is good? You know, like, and a lot of times my risk to reward doesn't make sense for anyone else. Like, for instance, we're doing this video called Action Figures, and Nitro Circus goes, okay, you got a $400,000 budget. That's about what we think, you know, we can do on this, like, DVD, basically, music video. I said, all right, and I ended up spending $1.2 million out of my own pocket for the rest of it, because we were trying to build ramps. So we built the triple backflip ramp, and Josh Sheehan ended up doing triple backflip, and Jed Milton ended up doing a quad backflip on a BMX bike, and we're flying people from Australia and everywhere, and really wanted that to kind of happen. So I think it worked out. And then at the end of it, I had always been practicing a double backflip with the full twist. And I'd done it on bicycles since 2001 in the foam pit, landed on a bicycle in 2014. And I said, now's, like, I'm not getting any younger. It's a perfect setup. I'm like, let's go for it. And I landed the first time, and I didn't have a concussion. And I landed, video. And well, everyone was just magically around me really fast, and someone had pooped in my pants. I don't know who did it. I haven't found him yet. I just closed my eyes for a brief second, and my wife's like, all right, go back up to the house. You're done. And I was like, no, I can land it. She's like, well, at least, like, change poop pants. And I thought,
it's a good call.
If I go back up to the house, I'll never do this trick. So 2 more crashes later and a dislocated shoulder, and I got this trick around.
Oh, that's my.
Do you want to kill that generator?
No,
air
it's
compressor?
the air compressor. It'll shut off in just a second. You can't turn it off. It's wired on a pressure switch.
Go pull that plug.
It's a race shop, brother. We got a little leak somewhere.
So
Are you
go,
saying?
hang on. Yeah,
go ahead.
Good. I was just gonna say you don't go back up to the house.
No, so I didn't go back up to the house, and ended up landing a double backflip 360. I mean, it was to a resi, like a plastic over top of like an air kind of.
Is that the one with the green carpet?
Yeah. Well, no, this one I just had. Yeah, the green carpet one.
Okay. Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, dude, I'm a fan, bro.
And you had poop in your pants?
A lot, like not just a little. Like it was more than a shirt.
Brother.
Yeah. But my wife, she's just shaking her head. She's like, look, we tripled the budget for you to hurt yourself, and there's nothing on the line. I'm like, I just really want to do that trick. So my risk to reward doesn't always make sense.
It's crazy the budget pulled off some of the greatest opportunities for, like, Jed. Was that the first quad backflip on a BMX?
Yeah, first quad. Now, he's the only one to do it. Him and Sheeny are the only two to do the triple and the quad. Like, they did it to wood landings. These guys, like, I wouldn't even, the jump that I did, the double backflip 360 on a dirt bike is the same jump. I literally, I mean, it was a little further for the dirt bike, but Jed went that big with no suspension. It was huge.
Yeah, such an epic moment.
To wood.
It's like, I don't know, as a fan, as the viewer, it's like so dope you spent that budget, because we wouldn't have that video. We wouldn't have that inspiration.
They would have done it eventually, but it was just like the ramps. I mean, because we just kept running out of, like, we're like, okay, it can't work. And then you watch the videos, and you watch from the side, and you see, okay, so for the bicycles, they could only take a certain amount of compression at the bottom, but then they lose speed. So it had to be a decreasing radius. Whereas the motorcycles, you gain speed as you're going up. So it had to actually compress the suspension halfway, and then we made it flat, like the same angle in the top, so that the front could actually rebound off, and the rear would actually keep driving through. So, and this is stuff that we just kind of learned trial and error. And,
the trial and error parts.
Well, but the takeoff ramp for Josh Sheehan's triple was 42 foot tall.
Oh my gosh.
So when you think first, and we had to build it out of metal, so we did like 3 ramps, and we started thinking, this is really expensive. So we started putting wood and just adjusting wood on the takeoff of it, so we could figure out what it was. Yeah, it worked out. Yeah.
I remember being at your house, and you said, we're testing the idea of being able to front flip a fan on a dirt bike. And I said, okay, I'll do it. And you front flipped me.
You got on, didn't you?
Yeah, I got on.
Man.
That's
you did a front flip on a dirt bike?
That's bold.
With him.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I think we went foam pit, but yeah, it worked.
It was a big airbag, yeah.
Oh, did we go airbag?
It was airbag.
Ooh, yeah. I'm sorry. I mean, you're welcome.
Bro, it was so sick. I'm like, I'm at Travis Pastrana's house. I think it was the same day you taught me the backflip on a bike.
Yeah, you actually crushed it. There's been very few people that have ever landed a backflip first try on the Gigantoramp And this man did it. Like, I mean,
I
round
did.
of applause.
First try,
dude.
but I did not do it second try.
You did not do it during the show, but you did it by accident the first time, which was great.
It was fantastic. I love that moment. I actually had, you guys, Nitro made me a jersey with my name on it.
Oh, yeah.
And I wanted to wear it on this episode, and I couldn't for the life of me find it. I was kicking myself, dude.
Yeah.
Real quick, guys, we got to throw some love to today's sponsor, AG1. So as most of you know, I spent the first 37 years of my life not doing anything for my health, not really looking after myself, not going to the gym, not trying to feed myself with nutrition. About a year ago, I made the decision to start going to the gym, to start looking after myself. I wanted to be fit by 40. That was and is currently still my goal. Now I diligently seek the best products to put in my body. AG1 is a daily comprehensive nutritional drink made powerfully simple. AG1 is made up of 75 high-quality whole food sourced ingredients, including vitamins, minerals, superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens, carefully curated to nourish the body's entire system holistically. As you guys know, this podcast right here has gone mobile. We have been on the road. We have been jumping on planes, going city to city, just like the one you're watching right now. AG1 makes it so easy, whether I'm in the comfort of my home, whether I'm jumping on an airplane, to keep my health in a positive moving direction. Check out how easy this is. This is like the best first step to your morning. This is routine right here. You wake up, 8 to 12 ounces of water, piece of cake. You open this beautiful jug, grab a nice scoop, bam. Put it in there. I mean, it doesn't get much easier than this. Cap it, give it a nice shake. You're literally ready to start your day. Check that out. Oh, it's beautiful. When we feel our best, we show up our best. And you're ready, right there. It's easy to stay committed to your intentions wherever you are and whenever you need it. For me, AG1 is important for clarity, for focus. I need to be on my game. I have 4 kids. I run a podcast. AG1 includes vital adaptogens, minerals and vitamins that enhance focus, cognition, and alertness. Not to mention improved digestion and gut health, sustained energy, immunity support, health aging, and so much more. It is an effortless daily habit. 1 scoop or travel pack, 8 ounces of water every day. That's it. Go to athleticgreens.com/Roman Atwood podcast to get started on your order. AG1 is going to hook you guys up and give you 1 free year of immune supporting vitamin D3, K2, and 5 free travel packs to go with your first purchase. And as always, guys, give them some love. Everything's in the description. I put all the links in there always. Support the brands that support our show. This stuff is for you. It is for me. It is to get us on track. It is to help us feel better, to be more focused, and to live life to the fullest. Be the best version of yourself. Check out AG1 in the description. Now back to the show.
So really, preparation is what saved you on or staying up at night before those stunts. Because I mean, I look at some of them and I'm like, man, I wouldn't be able to sleep.
Yeah, how do you
But
sleep?
you just prepare like crazy.
Yeah, but it's not this. Hopefully, not the night before. Josh Sheehan, when he did the triple though, it was wild because we had to take all the bag stuff down, and the weather was coming in. In Maryland, it was it was pretty cold.
Oh.
So he was out until he had a couple of his buddies that flew in from Australia as well, and they were out until 2:00 in the morning. And Josh wasn't just like, he wasn't a foreman. He was out there working his butt off, and then we, got it done right early the next morning. So he's an animal, really, really good dude.
That's crazy.
I love it. What's your favorite stunt you've ever done?
Favorite stunt?
Because I mean, I've seen you jump out of planes with no parachutes. I've seen.
Ooh, that's a good one.
I mean, what was that like?
Sadly, when I jumped out, I thought this feels normal, and that's when I got scared. I was like, not that I was actually free falling. I was just like, there's something a little wrong. This is, because Matt Huffman, we were sitting, we were about to go base jumping, and Matt's like wouldn't get near the edge, and I said, Matt, what? Like, this is the craziest guy. I mean, I based my life around Matt Huffman. This guy is like, he's the man. And I'm like, are you afraid of heights? You jump everything. He's like, no. I just can't trust myself from jumping off. When I get close to an edge, I just want to jump. And I thought, I'm like, wow, this guy's nuts. And then when I jumped out without the parachute, I was like, oh man, I'm a lot like Matt.
So he's like thinking like, I got to double check my parachute's on while I'm standing next to something.
No, he just wanted to make sure, like, before your parachute's on, like, it's funny because, like, my wife, Lindsay, she's She's
a legend.
She's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, two-time. Well, I think so. Excuse my wife. But yeah. Two-time world champion for skateboarders. Three-time vert X Games gold medalist. Like she's a badass.
She's legit.
Incredible.
But she goes right up to the edge of like canyons and stuff with nothing on. She's like, well, I'm not as clumsy as you. Like, I'm not worried about it. And like, I kind of have that, like, if I don't have something attached to me, I'm not,
Well, how about the guy that has to now save your life?
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So when you jump out, that's one thing. But now the other guy, it's in his head that he has to save you.
So the irony to all this was I went to Red Bull, who has the Red Bull Air Force, which is a lot of the top skydivers. And I was like, hey, let's do this. And they said no. And they've had every one of their top skydivers. They were like, you can't help him. We don't want to help this guy die, which was nice of them, I guess. But then I was still going to do it anyway. So I went to Eric Roner and started talking to people. And he's like, well, everyone's afraid of losing their license on this one. Because even the pilot, like you can't have someone without a parachute or two parachutes in the plane, and you know this.
Okay. Yeah.
So anyway, long story long, we found the one guy had only had like 10 jumps. The guy that was holding me still, he was a tunnel rat. So so Timmy.
So it didn't matter.
Yeah, he's like, well, I don't really have to skydive anyway. The pilot, I don't think had his license yet. He was
He's like, sure.
Yeah, went down to Puerto Rico. And
Whatever.
He was a kid. He was like, yeah, whatever. I mean, not a kid. Like he was old enough to know
14.
how to fly. Yeah, no, that's about
Nothing to lose.
That's about right. And then we had a military guy. So he's like, well, I don't really have to. Like, I got to jump in the military. I don't need a license to do this. So that's what we did.
Way.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was that sketch.
No, they were great. They were amazing.
No, I just didn't
It
know
all
it was so
worked out.
unofficial. That's awesome.
I could have went completely opposite.
No, Plammer actually is one of the best in the world. He's a tunnel rat too. But
Wow.
I can see
he's
too,
Jake
because
Jack.
you have so much influence too. So imagine all these kids watching you jump out of a plane with no parachute. I want to do that. I could see Red Bull and everybody just freaking out.
Well, so the United States Parachute Association, they came to me and they're like, look, we're going to have to take your license. Here's a fine. Basically like we're trying to do our best to keep you out of jail kind of thing. And I'm like, well, like someone's done this before. They're like, yeah, but they haven't been stupid enough to post it on the
Film it.
internet. I was like, oh yeah, okay.
What'd you jump? You jumped out with something in your hand. Was it a Red Bull?
Yeah, it was product testing.
Product testing.
That is insane, man.
Yep.
And just the idea, the creativity though, to like think of that and then make it happen. I love that.
Yeah,
Really
well-
just making it happen.
Yeah, the full commit. Like you've been told no many times.
I get told no
so-
a lot. But do you ever see Point Break? Johnny Utah did it.
Dude,
I mean, how hard can
Point
it be, right?
Break, legendary movie, dude.
The first one.
Yeah. That goes for a lot of first ones, dude.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Do you love that indoor skydiving? Because I see you do that a lot. I mean, that's got to feel similar-ish.
Dude, honestly, the indoor skydiving and trampolines are like 90% of what I can spend with my kids. And
But I was just gonna say how insane your little girls are, dude.
They're
like,
adorable.
Like, what's your thoughts on they're gonna become you?
no,
They're like mini me's.
yeah, they like cheer. I mean, I'm a cheer dad now. It's wild, but I never thought like flipping and spinning and tumbling was going to be something that would go into. I was thinking maybe gymnastics or action sports. My oldest, she likes to show off. She likes to drive for sure. But for the most part, my youngest, I kept telling her, I'm like, slow down, slow down, slow down on the dirt bike. And she would not let off. And she
Yeah.
eventually found out why I told her to slow down. And she got back on the next day. And that was pretty much her last motorcycle ride. So yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
So now they're big on tumbling and cheer and all that stuff.
That's it, man. They go. So my youngest is on 2 cheer teams because who knew cheer is the #1 most dangerous sport for 14 and under.
I've
kids.
heard this. I've heard this,
Really?
like a lot of bad accidents.
So my youngest is a flyer, which is the people that get dropped a lot. And my kids are really durable, so they end up on all these different teams because so at one point she was on 3 teams. They each have 3 hours a day, 3 days a week. So,
That's
It's a lot.
she's straight from school to cheer. They get done cheer like 9:30, then back to school at 7:30. Like it's a full-time job for these kids.
Wow.
But they love it, and I'm proud of them. They anything to keep them
Yeah, keep
Moving?
going.
yeah moving.
Moving and grooving.
Yeah, Cora, our daughter's into ballet, but she loves her cartwheels and stuff. And I was like, I think I need to put her in dance.
She's only 5. Yeah. She's tiny.
Dance
Yeah.
or cheer or something a little funner. Do you want to hop in here? Do you want to take my spot?
What's up? Jump on in.
That's cool. But
Got a special guest.
So-
Yeah, we do have
Yeah.
a special guest.
Super special
Very-
guest. How are you?
these if you don't want, but you totally can.
I'll look cool.
Leah Block, ladies and gentlemen.
What's up? How are you?
Oh my gosh. So
You can,
great.
here, that's.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
Let me help you.
All right.
I mean, you can put it where you want,
Okay.
but.
Yeah, that's fine.
What's up? I'm Roman.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Welcome to the show.
Thanks.
So I had gone out and I was like, Leah would love this. And I don't know, most of the stuff that anyone in the Block family, they do is so well prepared. I'm the opposite. There's like what the Blocks do and then what I feel like we're more in, you're like somewhere in between.
We just kind of try it out.
There's a little winging and a little planning.
Yeah.
So, I called up Lucy, Leah's mom, and I was like, so what do you think of the Freedom 500? And she's like, the race Crown Vics? I was like, yeah, all right. We know what this is. We're good. We got to start. And then I guess, so how did that go? You're in. Do you have any idea what you're
racing?
I had no idea what I was getting into. I literally.
Do you now have an idea?
Yeah. So only I think 2 days ago I actually looked it up, and I was
Well
like,
prepared.
wow. I was like Freedom 500, like Daytona 500, like
Same thing. Honestly, same
racing,
thing.
Basically the same thing.
Yeah. And I was like, I've never done like circuit racing like that. Like, okay, this is going to be experience, but like I'm super hyped to be here and I just want to go out and have fun.
Have you ever seen a circle track race?
Nope. Never been to one.
Well, perfect. Then you are ready to roll.
Have you ever driven a Crown Vic?
No.
Oh,
Really?
this is awesome.
Oh my gosh. Well, we have a practice session today.
No.
Yeah.
Since
not
when?
for you. Not for you.
Honestly, do it without practice.
Only the
Yeah.
newbies can practice.
You
You don't
practiced
need
last
any
time.
laps, Bucko. You just got off the Daytona 500.
Same, but different.
You're going to love it because, these Crown Vics, they rip. There's no pressure. You can just go out there and have fun, but it's a small track. So you're going to be in traffic the whole time. Like, there's really no point when you're racing in the Freedom 500 where you're by yourself.
Yeah, and they throw up so many yellows that you're always back in the pack.
They don't throw up yellows for no reason.
Well, it gets more lenient during the race, like as the race goes, I feel like. But
Yeah.
at the beginning, it's like yellow, yellow, yellow.
Yeah, there may be a couple cautions just because everyone's so fired up. They try to win on the first lap, and then, there might be a caution or two.
But also the yellows are what make the race, like as the driver, it gets a little annoying, but it makes the race so much more fun to watch.
Yeah.
Because once everyone packs back up and that takeoff, it's just like, that's it.
the problem is you got guys like Travis who will just crash into you for no reason. And then they need a caution.
So you gave me a car that it didn't have like the lower gears, the clutch was slipping. So once I was up to speed, I was good. But I'd work my way up to like second, third, fourth, and then I'd take off and I would just drop straight to the back of the field. And then I'd come up and then the caution would go out again. I'm like, come on.
Yep.
So I told Haley Deegan the last time, I was like, because we were under caution, so I go up like right next to her, and I was knocking the mirrors off everyone's cars so they couldn't see when I was coming up behind them, because I knew I was going to be behind them. So I go, Haley, shake it big. My car doesn't take off. She's like, I know. So I drop back to try to get her to help.
Slingshot, yeah.
Slingshot engaged, and she just went right around me. So I dropped back, and she never pushed me.
Dang.
Yeah, I would have done the same thing, but I was like, ah. It was sad. And then I got taken out. We went like 5 wide in the next corner.
She's really fun to be out there with.
Yeah.
She's good. So what's your favorite thing to race?
Oh, great question. I like racing a lot of things.
Yeah.
I mean, you can put me in any car or thing with wheels and an engine, and I'll go have
That's
fun.
awesome.
That's kind of what I'm worried about is these young prodigy drivers. You've been driving since 14?
11.
11.
Yeah.
See, that's
racing since 11.
I feel like older guys like us, we're gonna end up getting smoked. But
It's also that like fearless, like I see it in her eyes, like the no fear, dude. Just I'm ready to rip.
Yeah, they just I feel like all these drivers who have been driving since 10, 11, they're just so ahead of the game for, a guy like me who started, when I was 16 or, 15, 16. I've raced a couple young drivers, and you guys are crushing it. So I'm curious to see how well you do today. It's going to be fun.
So how's American Rally Association, the rally championship for the U.S.? You're running a rear-wheel drive BRZ, correct?
Yep.
Like rear-wheel drive car on those stages sounds absolutely sketchy. How's it going?
Oh my God. It was definitely a challenge because going from front-wheel drive in the little R2 that basically had 0 power, and you had to like carry momentum through every corner, or you're gonna have no power and no speed. It was so like weird to go from front to back, and then your car's stepping out every corner. You're like drifting around this, like trying not to go into a tree. Like, it was so sick, and I just like love it. And it was so much more fast. And 100 Acre Wood is like an insanely fast rally, so it was certainly a roller coaster ride.
Sounds like being on ice with just rear wheels, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can't even imagine. Like, I've never raced a rear-wheel drive car on rally. That would actually be really fun.
Dude,
you
your
guys-
rally stuff is
Do you
wild.
guys love just the trees being that close to you at that speed? I mean, that's insane.
I love with Travis' videos. You always hear, "This is gonna hurt."
Man, just every now and then. Like, usually, like once I destroy one car a season. Like, I feel like that's my limit. And I hope that it's later in the season, because if it's early, then I always feel like, oh man, this might be the 2-car season. But I've just done one a year for the last
What's the average
5 or
cost
6.
on that one car?
Oh, it varies. But Vermont Sports Car, they build a very, very good Subaru. I say right around 400 probably. But I mean, I'm not talking about
400.
I'm not talking about completely like, it's not a ground up, except for I did burn a car down 3 years ago. That was a ground up build.
400,000? One a season.
Yeah, one a year.
It's $400K a year.
Completely.
There's still some salvageable stuff
Yeah.
on
You
it,
could
right?
sell the turbo.
I hope so.
Pull the seats out of it. yeah.
But okay, so rally, I've realized something, and I realized this a lot more during COVID. I am not as talented as most people, but I am talented enough that if I can take a little bit of extra chance that other people are not willing to take, I can be successful. So I'm like, so when COVID hit, I realized that all the gamers, like, because no one's afraid of anything.
iRacing, all that
took
stuff.
100% of my advantage completely out. NASCAR,
Oh, yeah.
no one's really afraid of crashing. And anything with pavement, really, if you're pushing it too far, you're losing time before you're really crashing anyway. So like, rally is great because it's not about car setup. I don't know anything about cars, like literally nothing, or motorcycles. Like I'm like Cole Trickley. Put me in the car.
Days of
to
Thunder is
drive.
what I was thinking.
Yeah, that's why I love the Freedom 500, because you just jump in and no one's allowed to touch anything. So it works
Yeah.
out great. And even Daytona 500 this year, there was no practice and no testing. I think that helped me, even though I had never been in a car. Like,
sure.
I'm not going to get as good
Didn't
as
let
those
them
guys get.
adjust their cars a bunch.
Exactly. So anyway, at the end of the day, rally is great because you're going to have snow and dust and fog and pavement and concrete and gravel. You have all the elements. So it's about who can do the best at everything, or just make the least amount of mistakes. Or at the end of the day, if there's a downhill like STPR where you're doing 130 miles an hour and there's huge trees on both sides and like 100-foot cliffs on the edges, like, if those were cones, everyone would be wide open down it. But when you see, if you just like ping pong to your death, everyone's like, oh, lift a little bit. And I can say, these trees are cones. These trees are cones.
Oh my god.
The guy's crazy.
bro.
You're crazy.
No, but if they were cones, everyone would do it.
Trees are cones.
Have you?
Yeah,
Those
they
trees
wouldn't
are
feel like
soft.
cones if you went into
No,
them.
but I'm just imagining if they are cones, would I be able to go wide open?
They're cones.
And if the answer is yes, they're cones.
Wow.
It keeps you from slowing up. That's
Right.
your.
Now, if
That's
the
your.
answer is no, the answer is no for both. So it's
Wow. Have you tore up a car at all yet, Leah, in rally?
Yes. So last year, I think we were testing for New England Forest Rally, and I was testing with Brendo Reeves, who is an
Yep.
Australian driver, and he's insanely good at front-wheel drive. And we were texting with him, and he was helping me and training me. And I think it was like second to last run of the day, and
Yeah.
I pinned it over this 5 left, and it tightened.
So you want to explain what a 5 left is?
Yeah. What is that?
I'm not really good at explaining notes, so I'm not gonna lie. Well, it's a left,
fast.
obviously. Well,
It's fast. Five's fast.
Five's
No.
fast.
How high does
you
it go?
do 10.
I do 10.
Oh, she's got this newfangled, like they need more numbers. They're getting more specific.
More
So
precision.
what? So is
Yeah.
a 10? Is a 10 like 90 degrees?
No, 10 is actually barely turn.
Oh, so,
So,
it
like-
goes
Stay wide
backwards.
open.
A 0 for me is a hairpin.
Oh, so it's opposite.
Yeah.
Got it. So five's like
90. Yeah.
Yeah, like.
got
ish,
it. Got it.
Halfway.
Wow. Okay.
Halfway
So,
between.
so you're going through a 5 left pin.
Yeah, and then it was it was a minus, and then it tightened. So I didn't hear the Titan, and I was just kind of like going through it because I had memorized the road already, and it was like the end of the day.
Wait, okay, so you had the road memorized, but you didn't hear the Titan.
No,
Okay,
because
your
like,
excuse
I was
is
trying
not
to go-
holding water.
I was trying to go too fast, okay?
He sounds like an instructor right now. Like,
Yeah.
you knew what you did was wrong.
Yeah.
And, sorry, continue.
But there was like these, I had dug like ruts like in the inside of the corner, and my car got out of the rut and just went sideways, and there was a big tree on the outside of that corner, right into the tree. Of course, it was my co-driver's side too.
You should
It
have
always
said.
happens
You
on
should
the
have said that
co-driver's
tree's a
side.
cone. That tree's a cone.
Yeah, didn't feel like a cone. Yeah.
And that messed the car up pretty good.
Yeah, it bent the frame.
Oh, okay.
Which
Wow, really
that's
tore
like,
it up.
yeah, you have to get
It's
a whole
toast.
new cage and everything. So that was
Holy
completely
cow.
toast.
So just hung out the rest of the weekend.
Yep, hung out for the next 2 rallies actually.
Oh,
I
yeah.
wasn't able to
Dang.
do anything. We weren't able to get another cage from M Sport. Like we weren't able to get it over
Yeah, no.
in time.
That's
so,
tough. That's tough.
Yeah.
It's always on one of those last runs
Yeah.
Oh,
when
yeah.
you tear something up.
Get a little more speed out of her.
Yeah.
I'm yet to finish any race so far.
Really?
Never.
You're batting 1,000.
Yeah.
In the wrong direction. But
Eventually, it's. Gonna
are you
happen.
racing today?
I don't know. I don't
No,
know.
I don't. Well, he kind of joined. He came down kind of last minute,
Yeah.
so we didn't have him on the roster. But if someone bails today, he's number 1 in line.
All right.
Let's go. I
First
wanna
alternate.
Be out there with you guys.
Just want to see you finish.
I just want to finish a race,
Yeah.
dude. I haven't finished a burnout comp. I haven't finished a race, bro.
Yeah.
I suck.
Well, we're gonna get you to finish something this week.
How do you not finish a burnout comp?
Well, I haven't got to blow both tires. That's like that's what I consider finished.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's done 2. One of them, I was like giving him the shift to third symbol,
I thought he was telling me to stop.
and he thought I was telling him to stop. So that was one. And then I think the other one ran out of gas. So we're just dialing it in. This third one should be good.
Time's the charm.
I ran out of gas at the first race in Indianapolis.
Oh, yeah.
But I was also the only guy that hadn't practiced yet, so they let me run some laps, and I ran out like 2 laps early. So if I
How
didn't
were you
practice,
doing? I'm sorry. I should have done my homework on this. How were you doing?
He was leading the race at one point on his first one ever.
and I started dead last. Yeah.
Sounds like me at Daytona.
sounds
Did you
fun.
miss the pit?
Yeah, I don't think there was any pits.
No, I know, I was just-
No, I did blow a tire. I had to pit.
So, Leah, what's your plan for racing? What's your next step? Are you going to run rally for a while and try and jump up into anything? Or
Great question. You know, right now I'm just trying to do whatever like comes at me. Like
Yeah.
I just want to get as much seat time in as many different cars as I possibly can, and just get like my dad used to call it like my toolbox. Like everything I do, it adds another tool to my
Experience.
box. Experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. Seat time. Like, so right now I'm just focusing on rally, and I have been doing some open wheel testing, and I do
Oh.
really enjoy that.
dang,
Yeah.
Wait, what's open wheel?
like really
so like
fast.
Formula 4.
A lot of grip.
Oh.
Stuff like that.
Like
Yeah.
this
lot
thing.
of grip.
Well,
Is this considered open wheel?
yeah.
If you take the fenders off?
Yeah. If you take the fenders off.
Technically. Yeah, but I've just been trying some of that, and since I started like karting, I first started in like off-road short course, and then I went to karting, and I've really loved karting, and that like I would not be as good as I am today if I hadn't done karting, because karting is such like a good starting point for anyone. Like it teaches you so much about grip and setup and just like racecraft. So, I mean, whatever way I go, I'm just trying to learn as much as possible right
Yeah,
now.
just stack it up.
Are
Yeah.
you enjoying asphalt more than dirt now, would you say? Or are you more of a dirt?
See, I get that question all the time, and I'm like, I can never choose because I love both, and they're just so different.
Yeah.
Like one is super like fun, flat out, and you're drifting through corners as fast as you can, and the other is like chasing the fastest lap and like car setup and like making sure like everything is dialed. It's so hard to compare or like choose which one's your favorite.
Well, the fact that you can do both is good.
Yeah.
I personally am really bad at dirt. So when people pull me on the dirt, I just get smoked. Asphalt, I can hold my own.
I'm the exact opposite.
Yeah. We need to have a dirt race. I need to do something on dirt with you so I can show you how bad I am.
Yeah, actually, you know what? You guys do need to. You all need to come up to the house at one point. Well, I mean, you didn't make it very far. Were you driving or were you passenger when that?
Well, I
when
was driving.
You were driving when he hit a jump. To be fair, I think he hit the tree. Roman hit the tree while it was still in the air.
It was.
What were you driving?
Yeah, but the tree wasn't a small tree, so like he did. I think you could see it before you took off. So like.
Well, after the accident and we stepped back, you pointed out, did you not see that tree? I absolutely didn't. I wouldn't even have thought
to
of that.
look past.
I would have thought I
What
would have
did
hit
you
the
crash?
downside. It was a
Can-Am.
Can-Am. Yeah.
Oh, really? So you were ripping through the dirt course. You were rallying.
But it's a pretty big jump, actually. So
Yeah,
he
it's a
was
big
looking
jump.
at the takeoff of the jump, but the jump has a corner after it.
It's kind of like it's not
It's a hip,
straight.
yeah.
It's like a hip.
Oh.
Yeah. So I just sent it straight off the hip, right into a tree, dude.
Wow.
Yeah, it did not feel good.
And
Was
I
it
broke
bad?
your helmet.
Yeah, no, it was a hit.
How was the Can-Am?
When we landed, the wheel was rolling down the hill, so we tore it up good.
Solid.
I never.
Hubert.
Was so pissed, bro. He run up to us. He didn't care about us at all. He's like, "What the hell are you doing back here?" Probably just assumed that's your cart, right? So he's probably and he's got to fix it.
Yeah, Hubert is. When we have groups over, Hubert's like, I hate your friends.
Yeah, because he's got to fix everything, right? So when there's an accident, it's like, I got to fix it. But he turned out quick. But you ran up and you were like, "Did you film it?" And we're like, "Yeah, we did." And you're like, "Then you don't have to pay for it."
You're good. That's the first rule of the shop. Like, look, if you have something epic and you destroy everything and everything catches fire and burns down, as long as it's on film, that's on me.
Yeah.
If you break my stuff and you don't get it on film, that's
point.
on you.
It's a great, just film it. just destroy my shop, but film it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think you guys aired that clip at Nitro that season. Or that next season. It was so cool.
We appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. So before I got in your cart, I had already harnessed in. I understand how to use a harness. I buckled in. Ross buckled in. By the way, that's the first time I ever met Ross when he hopped in that cart.
So Ross Smith was
Smith.
out there as well. Yeah.
So when we're harnessed in, we're good to go. And then you walk over and you come back and you just rip us in there. Like you were making it so tight.
Well,
and I remember
they buckled down the top, but the lower,
Yeah.
He obviously could see we weren't in right, but to us it was like, oh, we're golden. And I said, we're not going to need it tight. We're just going to cruise. And you said that's what everyone says before they flip it. And it was like
100%. If they say we're taking it easy, no, we're just going to cruise around. I'm like, and that one's not coming back.
So that was a big life lesson to me to make sure those things are in there. So I come to Cleetus's Bristol event. And I'm an amateur, dude. I have no race experience.
This is Indy, right? Or Bristol?
This is Bristol.
Oh, gosh.
So it's time to qualify. It's time to qualify. And I think 4 of us go out together to qualify. I'm good to go. I run my whole qualifying laps, everything. And then I hit pit, and I just hop out of the car. I never put a seatbelt on at all.
You're done, dude.
Never put
You're done.
Yeah.
Bro,
and this never
can you
happened.
imagine, dude?
No.
Luckily, it's qualifying. Yeah, we kind of had a safety, what's it called, wake-up call that weekend.
Yeah.
So from that point on, we've been a little bit more serious about safety. As you'll see, the Crown Vics have insane roll cages now. So
That's the only reason I invited you, Leah, because I
thanks.
knew the safety was
Yeah, put your
Right.
put your
top
seatbelt
priority
on.
now.
But of all places, Bristol, dude, at any moment, you can just slide out. You know,
have you ripped on Bristol?
Yeah, I was really bad. I was so excited because Dover's right by my house. And then I was like, oh, Bristol and Dover, that's going to be so cool. They're like, yeah, you jump into the bottom. I was like, this is going to be awesome. And I sucked. I was horrible. It was my worst 2 tracks for sure.
Okay, so is there differences in between different oval tracks?
Oh,
Or
yeah.
Is it
So the
it's like
bank,
Just an oval?
yeah.
the bank is a lot of it. Some of them are
Turn left.
flat. Yeah, you turn, all you have to
All
do is turn
left.
left.
Straight left.
Straight left, straight left, straight left for 100 laps. But when the flat ovals aren't as fun because you have to manage wearing out your front right. But the track you're on today in Bristol, they're so banked that you can pretty much be flat out if you want to.
The banks make it really fun. You just hug it. It just the car just sucks to the road, and you just floor it.
Yeah, definitely. You can just rip it because the car just presses into the ground. But straight left, you're going to think that, but I think you'll actually you'll just love how much traffic there is because it does get a little boring if you're just running laps by yourself because it's literally straight left. But there's so
Just,
much
taking
traffic.
people
Didn't
out.
sell this very well.
But there's so much traffic that you're just constantly going right, left, trying to get through 4 cars that are, 4 wide.
It's demolition derby /
No,
So
no,
I
you
can just
wanna-
tap someone's back wheel into a wall.
Well,
There's some rules.
yeah, I mean, you can race your line and You know what? You're gonna find out. You're gonna love it.
Just try to get your car as long as you get your car to the end. Like I came in too hot a couple times last year, and I was spinning them, so I just went around and before they spun, I'd bump them in the front and kept them going, and then gave them their spot back. And I felt like I don't know if that's okay, but I didn't mean to spin them a couple times because I was just like my car didn't take off.
Yeah. You had a disadvantage. Luck of the draw.
All right, but. Everybody always says, oh, it must be boring running NASCAR. I can tell you, even by myself, qualifying for the 1.5 miles. So there's 800 pounds of side force at 3 degrees of yaw. I'll learn all these terms when I started trying to turn left. And when you go, for instance, we had Charlotte, and Charlotte was a newly paved track at the time. So when you jump in, like you drop in like 3 stories from the top to the bottom. So when you go from the top of the track and you're wide open, you're dropping 3 stories. The car gets super light and it starts going sideways. Then the air actually catches the side of the car, and that's what holds it basically from spinning
sliding.
out. Yeah, and your tires when you first do your qualifying lap, they're cold, or when you first start on a green flag. So it's super slick. So you land in the corner, like literally, you jump from the top to the bottom. It feels like a roller coaster, and you don't see this at all on TV. And when you hit, the car either goes when it starts to basically compress, it either goes tight where you're going straight up, it goes loose where you're spinning, or it'll hit and everything will slide evenly up the track is kind of what you wanted to happen. And you're wide open until you know what happens. So you don't know what your car's going to do until it hits, and at that point you have to make a rash decision. It's one of the most scary things you'll ever do at like 180 miles an hour.
Just like every lap. Just
No,
idea.
But it is definitely, oval tracks are way more exciting and for racing, way more exciting and way more physical than any road course or rally. 100%.
Wow.
That's a big statement right there.
Yeah. Plus you got nitrous.
Oh, I'm so hyped for that.
Yeah. Have you used nitrous before?
No. Well, no.
We'll get you a quick rundown on it. It's awesome.
I don't think I've ever really felt it.
Push to pass.
I mean, maybe a little.
It's only like 50 horsepower, so it doesn't
Yeah.
make it
I mean,
massive.
you feel a little like extra, but it's not like the video games where you're like Dom Toretto style.
It's not that aggressive. Hey, one thing I wanted to ask you today is, when you really, what age would you say when you really got on the spotlight for, what you were doing in motocross?
It's funny because as a kid, even if you're in your local backyard track and no one's actually watching, you still feel like that's just as important on that as you do when you kind of, because you're racing the same kind of crew almost all the way up. Mm-hmm. Starting at about 8 years old, at 6, I went to the Loretta Lynn's, which is Amateur National Championships. So from that point, it all felt the same to me. It just progressed. It's like when you first do a jump on a dirt bike. It might be a foot in distance. You might be an inch off the ground. You're like, that was huge.
Yeah.
It's the same feeling now that I get when I'm doing a 200-foot jump.
Wow.
You know what I mean? It's just the levels change.
Just got to keep getting bigger and bigger.
And then, but you eventually, started picking up brand deals and stuff. And have brand deals primarily been your source of income? Is
Sponsorships?
I used to think I was a racer, and then at about 18 years old, I realized that it's more of a salesman role. I mean, you're only as good as what value you can sell. The product. So I've been really fortunate though. My whole life, I've been able to align with the people I want to align with. So it's good. Like I feel like if you're struggling to get there, you kind of start aligning with whatever you can. But by the time I was racing, by the time we were traveling outside of our area or whatnot, I could align with the teams that I wanted to and do the things that I wanted to, and that's been really cool.
Yeah, no, I can tell. And you are a man of your word. Everything, every single thing this guy's ever told me he's going to do, 1,000% happened. And I've got to say that's awesome.
That's my dad's probably only thing. He's like, look, you're only as good as your word. So
yeah.
But yeah, it's been fun. Thanks for all the opportunities, both of you guys.
Yeah, of course. You've been an insane inspiration to me. Like,
thanks, man.
On many levels, like, especially like the Nitro Circus stuff. Like, you've taught so many people, and it goes for like all the way back to CKYs and the Viva La Bams and the Jackasses. Like, you taught like us that you could do these things. Like, we're not crazy, right? We're not crazy. This can be a business. And then you've also inspired me to, you're phenomenal on a dirt bike, but you just weren't riding a dirt bike. You're creating businesses and you're creating a legacy outside of riding this dirt bike.
Just trying to figure out a way to not have to get a real job.
But it teaches people longevity, right? Like the guys that only rode the dirt bike, they probably aren't riding that dirt bike anymore, and they're trying not to work, right?
I'm sure a lot of people are like, how long can he do this for?
Right.
But look at you now.
But the cool businesses,
Look at us
so
now, man.
long you've been just out here ripping.
dude, you're
I love
sitting
it.
on the Roman Atwood podcast right now. I don't know if you realize how big you've gotten, bro. You're about to do the Freedom 500. Like, it is peak season right now.
Right now.
It's amazing how long he's done it.
Yeah.
It's a great point.
Yeah, I'm very thankful for you and the crew, the Street Bike Tommies, you guys are a big family. Every time I've been to Nitro, it's like so special. That behind the scenes is like beautiful.
No, and I appreciate you coming out and being a part of that.
Man.
I could not believe, I mean, we mentioned it a little earlier, but you actually, like the Gigantor ramp, everyone's like, oh, I want to take a big wheel or a couch down that. And they get to the top, they're like, yeah, no.
Yeah,
Like,
never even walked up it. And that was a day that nobody would let me do it. I fought all day. Like, I'll sign any paper. My manager, no. My film team, we had a YouTube, our YouTube show was there filming that day. Everybody's like, absolutely not. If you get hurt, we can't finish the show, blah, blah. It's like, I'm doing this today. Like, eventually, everybody was like, sign here, sign here. I signed a bunch of stuff, and I was like, to the top. Let's go.
So the best one was Scott Speed. He was talking a lot of crap, and Scott goes, hey, because he came over to the house, and we were filming for Alberto or something was sponsoring the team. And he's like, oh, I want to take the big wheel. I want to take the big wheel. So we go to like the minimum height that you can go that actually just gets over the ramp into the airbag. And he gets all the way up there. He's excited. He goes and he actually sits on it. And he goes, actually, you know what? I got to call my manager. I don't think I'm allowed to do this. They're going to, yeah. He's like, he's like, oh yeah, no, they told me I couldn't do it. I'm like,
At the top.
yeah. I'm
Unreal.
like, you already went up, Scott.
Dude, shout out to R. Willie, because he fought for me hard.
cool.
And he spent time with me, like down on the ground, like sitting on that big wheel. And I'm like, by the time you get to the top, it's the first time you're like, are the handlebars supposed to be crooked? He's like, yeah, that's just how it is. I'm like, okay, here we go. It was legendary, man. I'm really thankful for that moment. And the kids, the family was back home. They didn't even know about it at all until
probably best.
until after. But I didn't know at the same time they were getting kittens. So they named one of them Nitro. So we still have a cat named Nitro.
Nice.
Just because of that.
I've met that cat.
Yeah. Good cat.
Good
man.
cat. All right.
Nice cat.
Yeah. So. Any like regretful stunts like that you just like should have never done it?
So back to the man of your word thing. I think there's the ones that I regret the most. So once you decide to do something, like it's all in. I was probably 11 years old, and at the time Kevin Windham was the only one that was doing this. It was about a 110-foot jump, shoot, like super steep takeoff. It probably wasn't that big, but for 11, there was only like one pro doing it at Ponca City, one of the nationals. And what's that?
You said 11?
Yeah, so I mean, whole life racing.
Yeah.
But so I had this, I had a Super Mini that they had a 115 cc in like an 85 chassis. It was like, it could outpull most 250s because at the time I was 11, so I was real light. And I was like, Wyndham's only doing it on his 250, not even on his 125. But I'm like, this is faster than his 125 because I'm lighter. And like, I was like, this is going to work. And I told Guy Cooper, who was my absolute all-time hero, Guy Airtime Cooper. He had Cooper Land. It was like my whole role model and inspiration for Pastrana Land.
Nice.
I was like, yes, this guy's awesome. And he was standing there. He's like, can you believe Wyndham's jumping that? I was like, yeah, I'm going to jump it. He's like, oh, cool. I'll watch. And I went out, first lap, I'm like, I'm not going to make it. Second lap, it's one of my first memories, like so vivid, just because. And I look over and right before the last lap, and Guy Cooper's sitting there watching, and I know he's just watching, saying, "This kid's, there's no way he'll jump this." And I knew halfway up to the ramp, I'm like, "Nah, I ain't got it." And I just held it wide open. And thankfully, when I landed, the front rim collapsed, the forks bent in, like everything went down. I got like a black eye, but like the bike just disintegrated on the landing.
It was like a cushion.
And the cushion, and flipped over. Like, I mean, I still hit my face in the skirt, but it was okay. My dad was really bummed because at that point we had like 2 mortgages out on the house so we could get there. And the bike was like, the frame was bent, everything was trashed. But so when you say regrets, I learned probably a little bit, maybe around 16 was my last time that I said I was going to do something that I knew. If I don't know 100% that I can do it, I don't say I'm going to do it. Because every time I've said I was going to do something and it hasn't worked out, I've still done it anyway, which is probably the definition of stupidity. But yeah.
I mean, at 11, I was definitely still building Legos and playing with G.I. Joes.
Yeah, I was doing
in the
that too.
bathtub, bro.
That's a good life lesson, though, right there.
Yeah.
To not say you're going to do it unless you absolutely know you can.
So I that backfired again this year. There was a 13-year-old kid, Ben Mayer, at Nitro Rallycross.
Oh, I remember this.
Oh man. So, this kid comes up to Deegan and I. So Brian and I were battling. The kid gets third. And he's like, oh, I was the fastest guy on the track. I was definitely faster than you guys. I'm like, well, dude, we're going back and forth. Like I'm going to teach you a lesson. I'm like, you're
going to teach this kid today.
Yeah. I'm like, you go to school, right? I'm like, yeah. He's like, yeah. I'm like, okay, I want your professor, your teacher, whatever, your English teacher to basically, we're going to make a bet. And tomorrow for like time qualifying, basically, where there's no one else that can mess up your race. I'm like, if you think you're faster, he's like, I am faster. I said, all right, if you're faster than Brian and I tomorrow, I will give you $1,000. But if you're not, I want a 5-page essay on why not to talk shit you can't back up. Kid, I came across the finish line, they're like, P1. I'm like, all right. And they're like, oh, actually, there's some kid just topped your time. But it's cool, you're in front of Brian. And I was like, which kid? Like the 13-year-old. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. So I went and had come over Steve, get $1,000 from the ATM. So I was like,
paid up
that day. And I went to pay him. And he's like, where's my letter? I was like, I will happily write you a 5-page letter if you want. But he took the 1,000.
That's awesome.
So that's almost like an opposite lesson, though, right? That teaches that now it's like okay to be cocky, bro. It's like
Yeah, you just gave him the
yeah.
ability to be able to be like, I can do anything. Now I can be cocky.
That's like the opposite
I beat
of
Travis Pastrana.
the real lesson would have been you beat him, right? Because now it's like, all right.
Yeah, no, I reversed. Yeah, that lesson was, it was an epic fail on my part.
He's a driver. I've lost to him as well.
Oh, have you? Because he did the
stadium trucks.
Super trucks.
Yeah.
And I believe you have also lost to this kid.
I have, yeah.
Oh, frick.
Sorry, I was throwing it out there.
It's okay.
I
It's
have
whatever.
not lost to him.
You know, he
Well,
was
it's your
racing
podcast.
before, at like the first races. I only raced 2 races.
See, I hear a lot of excuses coming out
I
of you.
do make a lot of excuses. That's kind of what race car drivers do, though.
It is
100%.
Yeah.
I blame the fuel. I even did it, and I'm not even a racer.
So, but you went out. So the first round that you did at Glen Helen was the gnarliest track for side-by-sides. It was so hard not to bicycle. And how was your first experience?
It was fun. I mean, I was definitely a little frustrated because like I had never, and the only thing I raced that was like UTV was a little Razor. Like my first time I ever raced was in like Lucas Oil Off-Road. And so I just like jumped in the Can-Am. Like I only like had driven it in like the sand dunes. And you know, it was just like, it was fun. I mean, I got a little mad because I did get spun once or twice.
Once or 5 times.
Well-
But but your second race, you came out and you were on fire. You were battling for the podium. I think you actually, so BJ Baldwin, he just won like 11 truck championships off-road. How many did he win?
He's the best in the desert current champion.
How many championships? Anyway.
A lot.
Yeah, BJ Baldwin's won a lot of off-road championships, jumps in, and again, it was his first one. Leah had jumped in the time before, but Leah jumped in halfway through the season, and Leah straight smokes BJ Baldwin on a side-by-side and off-road at Phoenix. It was like,
Let's go.
Yeah.
Hey, gone.
How did Phoenix go?
I mean, I think it went really good. I was P3 on the final. I mean, starting for the final.
Oh, Jim
Got-
York took her out.
Yeah. From behind.
First turn, Jim
First
never
turn
lifted.
spun me, didn't lift, and I just had the
Unreal.
inside line, just hit the back tire, and I just spun. So that was my race, but
You came back, you did pretty good though. You still got top 5, didn't you?
I think I got 5th,
Yeah.
something like that.
No, that was awesome.
I was so mad.
Yeah.
I was like,
sounds great.
Really?
That's Jim York.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's Jim York.
I mean, 5th is fine, but it's not the podium.
That's very
I was
true.
really hoping to get a podium,
You ain't
but
first or last.
You should do like a 10-position podium, like the biggest podium. Everybody gets a spot, dude.
and you're the last loser.
Now, how
Yeah.
bad would that suck though? Is this just last place? You're like you're looking at the top. You're like, oh, that's where I wanted to be.
Yeah.
That could be funny actually.
That actually could be a really tall podium. In
Just
the
a
middle.
really
Just like
fun-
we use
Last
the milk
place.
crates.
Yeah, not first, last.
Yeah.
The trophies get smaller and smaller.
Yeah. Leah, did you see the prize for today?
I did.
So it's a big prize.
It's a big prize.
Ariel Adam, supercharged.
Awesome.
Got a big wing.
He's got his big wing. What's the 0 to 60 on this? Do you know? Have
I
you
don't
tried
know.
it yet?
I went
figured
down
you
the
would've
drag
known.
strip and went like an 11 something.
All right.
Which I didn't want to launch it hard because I didn't want to break it before the weekend. But
Here's your car.
It's very fast. Feels like a solid 650 horsepower street car.
That's awesome.
You know, because it's just so freaking light. It's 1,300 pounds.
All right, I want to ask you, how did you and Lindsay hook up? How did this all go down?
So Lindsay won her first X Games gold medal at 14. So I had seen her around. She's 6 years younger than I am, though. So I was pretty much done with all of my X Games shenanigans when I was brought to Zoomies 100K. It's where they bring all the Zoomies ambassadors and the salesmen, basically, and a lot of the top athletes or music people. Everyone kind of goes, and I met Lindsay there, and she said, "Oh, I just did the Gigantic ramp or the Mega ramp," and we were just about to go on tour for the first time with Nitro Circus, and girls are like unicorns. They just don't exist that can do what we need to do. Like the very basic of being able to be on tour is you have to drop in a 70-foot almost vertical ramp, which and you did it, which was very amazing. But there's just not a lot of girls that will do the Gigantic ramp.
Want to do that?
That want to, yeah. And the ones that can are like, yeah, I'm gonna go over here and be a professional athlete. I don't want to tour around on some circus with a bunch of
Wild
crazy dudes.
Wow.
But Lindsay said yes. She's like, I'll go and I'll basically try out, which, she's, like I said, a unicorn. So all she had to do was make it over the gap. And she started right away. She's learning 360s and trying backflips. And she jumped in on the tandem bicycle. And then when Jolene got hurt that first year, Lindsay had never flipped. She'd never really ridden a dirt bike, but she's like, I can flip. This will be easy. She never landed a flip, but for 4 consecutive shows, she tried on a pit bike to do a backflip, and she was jumping basically the same jump that we were using for double backflips on dirt bikes because it was the steepest one.
Oh wow!
And second gear wouldn't make it to the landing, so third gear on a pit bike just pretty much
ripping.
pinned. Yeah, she was so wobbly. I thought she was going to miss the ramp, but she sent it every night, and then we fell in love.
You fell in love. She can't
all
do a
it took.
backflip. She's mine.
That's all it took.
That's before. Man, how long you guys been together?
Oh man, don't put me on the spot.
Yeah,
11 years.
We'll bleep that.
Married
part.
11 years.
Married 11 years. So say that's before like DMs and all that business.
Yeah. No, it was good. I'm so happy that like I missed all of like tour now with
Social media.
oh, it's a different it's wild.
Yeah.
You have a lot to look forward to.
I'm so glad. So
Yeah, being a girl in the social and being like good at what you do, I can't imagine. Like guys are ruthless.
In a guy's sport.
I don't
in a
look
guy's
at
sport.
my DMs.
Yeah.
Smart.
way.
Smart.
No
I
way.
would not open that. Even my comments, I'm like, oh, whoa.
It's tough.
So this is probably something we'll end up cutting later, but I'm gonna go ahead and say it for now. So I hadn't even thought about it, but one of my buddies was like, "Hey, so in your Instagram, like, how many nudes you get?" I was like, "I don't think," and I opened it up, and Lindsay was right there, and I was like, "Holy cow!" Like. It was amazing. And Lindsay's like, yeah, so we're going to shut this off. I'm like, I had no idea.
Was it all dudes though?
Yeah, all dudes.
All dudes.
100%.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Still nudes, man.
Nudes are nudes, bro. All right. Well, you guys got anything else? Anything fun
great.
coming
Please cut
up?
that last
Rip.
part. Actually.
Anything else? What's the biggest final stunt that you would like to see yourself do? What's you've done everything to me. Like, what is the one stunt that you're like, I gotta accomplish this?
The Daytona 500, doing it was something that I really wanted to do. We have a really awesome opportunity right now with Mid-America Outdoors, which is a place in Jay, Oklahoma, in the middle of nowhere. This guy's putting in, he's got a lazy river for the kids, and they're putting in pump tracks, and we just basically got this $500,000 set up for huge, basically what I had at my house, but everything's so much safer, so much wider. So like what I was doing front flips on a dirt bike a long time ago, just to an airbag, I'd love to be able to do like a 4-second front flip where it's just like
big,
just huge. I just thought that was the coolest
just fly
feeling ever, because you're just like lawn darting forever, and then you tuck on the top, and you kind of just like it just felt the coolest ever. So I think that would be neat. But at the end of the day, I think the Freedom 500 to do that and the Daytona 500 in the same year. I know there's been another guy that's done that. I think we had
Bowman.
Bowman.
Yeah.
So I won't be the first, but to be the second person to do the Freedom 500 and the Daytona 500 in 1 year, I get to check that off today.
Let's go, dude.
You're
Yeah.
a legend.
Let's go, man.
I think you should teach me how to do a backflip on a dirt bike.
Dude, be very careful what you ask for.
No, because that's
So
what
I've
it's been
asked
my dream.
him. I've asked him the same exact thing. I went to his house. I wanted to do it on a bike, but a BMX bike, and I tried many times, and he was like, "You need to do this on a dirt bike." I was over rotating. I was under rotating. He's like, "You need to do this on a dirt bike." I was like, "I've never jumped a dirt bike in my life." Puts me on a dirt bike. It's just a little 110.
Yep.
First try on the dirt bike, I come right down on the wheels. Foam pit. But
It was magic. It was this guy. There's a lot of talent
thank you, dude.
hidden behind that voice.
But first thing I said when I got there was like, dude, I'm with you. Like I'm gonna. And he's like, that's like the biggest mistake everybody makes. They think they're safe with me, but it's not true. Everyone gets ballsy with you because they assume you know what you're doing.
No, they go one way or the other. Everyone that comes to the house, they either go full send or they don't do anything. I think, honestly, your dad was probably the best. He came out and he tried everything one time. So he went down, he did the slip and slide, which shouldn't have done. He's like, I'm going to do it
Is
once.
that the loop-de-loop slip and slide?
No, it had the gap at the bottom.
That's
though.
right.
Yep.
Yeah.
So there's a couple different versions of slip and bleed. But he
Slip
did a
and bleed.
backflip on a full size, like a 250. And he lands. And usually when people land it the first time, they're like, let's do it again. He's like, we're done.
That's it.
And he was just very methodical about how everything worked there. But I would love to get you out. How are your motorcycle skills? Because I don't think I've really seen you on a dirt bike before.
I ride all the time at the ranch. Like,
Nice.
I've actually gotten into it like a lot more because my brother always wants to go out and I always have to go out with him. So I'm like, yeah, why not just rip the track? And I can hit almost every jump on that track.
Nice.
There you go.
Oh, what kind of bike?
I have a Husky 125. I
Makes
think.
sense.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well,
I
that's
think it
really
needs
I
to
cool.
can't
happen.
touch the ground, but it's still fun.
Don't need to touch the ground.
No.
Well, he's got the bad idea factory, so.
Yeah. I mean, I can do a backflip on a BMX. I've done it into like foam pits. So.
Oh yeah, no, okay.
This
I
would
don't
be
know
like
why I didn't know this. I'm
10
sorry.
minutes. 10 minutes, you'd be flipping probably.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you're comfortable upside down, if you can do it on a bicycle, like I said, you can do it on a motorcycle. But kind of back to that, it's interesting. Most people don't make decisions for themselves. They are either like all in or all out. And I feel like that's the one thing I'm trying to teach my kids. When we went to like Woodward, and they go, "Dad, is this going to hurt?" I'm like, how am I supposed to know? Like, I don't know. Like, if you do it right, no. If you do it wrong, yeah, it's going to suck. Like, how good are you? You know,
There's
like,
no in between.
yeah.
Well, thanks for being here, man. It's an honor. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having
Super
me.
fun surprise. Cleeter, thanks for letting us use your place.
Anytime.
We're going to go have a really fun day.
Let's do it.
So, thank you all.
Alrighty.
This was awesome. I appreciate it. Thanks for the morning. I cannot wait until that's sitting in my my driveway here tomorrow.
You're done, dude.
Buckle up. We love you guys. You are beautiful. You're one of a kind. Smile more. All right. Thank you all.
Thanks for your time.
Nice work, everybody.
Oh, yeah. Can we just grab a group photo?
Yeah, let's do it.
Brett, you can just jump in with me.